So I've done a little bit of digging in the backstory and pulled back the curtain of what happened in Hypixle Studios. What happened to the Hytale devs, and where did it all go wrong? Who's to blame, and where did everything start to go awry in this whole situation? A lot of people point their fingers at Riot, some people point their fingers at Noxy or the devs, and I just really wanted to share what I found, because honestly it's pretty sad. It's pretty tragic what happened, and yeah, let's just dive into it and let's see what really happened to Hytale. First, let's rewind to the early days. Okay, Hytale started out as this beautiful grassroots project made by a small team of passionate modders from the Minecraft community. These weren't big studio veterans, these were dreamers. Inside Hypixle Studios, there were no big corporate titles, no hierarchy designed to silence people. It was a flat structure. Every voice mattered. It was about collaboration, not competition. And to prove this, we have a tweet from Slikey. He's going to be somebody that we quote a lot in this video because he spoke up quite a bit. But he said, "We started the entire thing without titles. We didn't have seniors or juniors or whatever. It all ended with so many principals and directors that you really have to wonder if it was a game studio or a welfare program." So yeah, he kind of described, like, in the beginning, there wasn't this hierarchy of, I'm a senior developer, you're a junior developer, you have to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. They were just having fun making a game. And sadly, it took a turn for the worse, and that was no longer the case. We have another tweet by Sfax, who was also a developer, and this kind of also gives you an idea of what it used to be like. He says, "I still remember how great that time was. Adding new features every week and sharing them every Monday. I built so many cool things Minecraft never had, like block painting, in-game video, 3D models, submerged blocks, and more. A rare time when passion and creativity truly clicked." They built this game as a passion project. They wrote the original music, they designed intricate systems, and most importantly, created a captivating game world. So captivating that the trailer got 60 million views. It was a game with soul. And for a while, it worked. The community was hyped, the devs were energized, and for many of us, Hytale felt like the future. And then came the Riot acquisition. Now, to be clear, I don't think Riot is evil. I don't think this is on Riot. And I don't believe that this was even necessarily Noxy's fault either. I don't think he realized at all the effect that the new leadership would have on the team. He was truly passionate and cared about the project, but I just don't think he fully realized the effect that this new direction was going to have on the team. Hytale's tragic downfall began when the new leadership was brought in, and that new leadership didn't understand what made Hytale special. They saw a team of passionate developers and decided they just weren't enough. The Hytale devs described them as viewing us as incompetent. They started taking over systems and telling them they needed to be done, quote, the right way. Listen to what Slikey has to say about this. "Hearing it wasn't feature creep, honestly, I can only smash my face into the table if anyone believes that. Systems that were already far ahead of Minecraft at the time were completely reinvented to make them, quote, even better, resulting in catastrophe. Suddenly, ideas that once mattered were ignored. Meetings turned into battlegrounds, and a sense of pressure, judgment began to hang over the studio. People didn't feel free to speak anymore. They felt like they were constantly under a microscope." Look at this tweet from Paulina. "Being consistently pushed to feel not good enough was the most crippling for me and my confidence. It took me a long time to finally believe in myself again. But I'm still easily anxious about any feedback and feel like I just need to defend and justify myself." These are real mental health issues that came from an environment like this. And that's why I say this is honestly really sad that the developers had to go through this. I mean, you can see it in these tweets: burnout, anxiety, isolation. And guys, this wasn't about lazy devs. It wasn't about Riot or Noxie even, really. This was about a team being slowly crushed by the weight of corporate pressure, feature creep, and mismanagement. Matter of fact, the devs actually speak really highly of Riot. If you look at Ninja Charlie, he says, "I'm a D1 Rito hater by nature, but Riot were absolutely great to work with. Every Rioter I met was a pleasure. None of this was on them. The problems weren't theirs." And to reiterate this, we have dev/null, who's another developer. He said, "Riot was an absolute pleasure to work with. From people to leaders, they understood the power of empowering and giving folks agency. The issues were all internal to Hytale's leadership." And I know what you're thinking. Noxie, it's his fault. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it was his decision to bring on the new leadership. If so, that was probably the biggest mistake. But Slikey does speak up for him, saying, "Honestly, many times I talked to Noxie about my observations. He understood and even seemed to agree. I am sure he still believed in the original vision, but wasn't able to push through with the more experienced directors and realized too late that it's the wrong direction." And I think that's exactly what happened. Dev/null sums it up perfectly. Hytale, what could possibly go wrong when you hire new leadership that thinks the original team is incompetent? Oh, the whole project ends up going in circles until it dies. The community should be angry at the mismanagement that stole the opportunity for Hytale to flourish. So there it is. I mean, this is what happened. That is what happened to Hytale. Mismanagement crushed the team. And it's tragic, honestly. Like, hearing what some of these people said is honestly so sad. To capture how sad this was, I want to read this. I know it's kind of long, so buckle in. But this post by Athena really kind of like hit me hard. I was like, wow, this really stinks. So let's read this. So it says, "My last Hytale related post. I've never been vocal about anything controversial or political. I've always kept my head down, focused on art, game dev, and supporting people around me. But after 4 years working on Hytale, I reached a point where I felt like I had to speak my own personal experience. Working at this studio was honestly exhausting. I'd share ideas or concerns and get brushed off until someone with a more impressive title said the same thing, and suddenly it was treated like genius. When I challenged decisions that felt unproductive or inefficient, I was called difficult or told I couldn't take feedback. It was also obvious some people were only there because of who they knew and not what they brought. I tried to suggest ways to lay proper groundwork and improve our workflow, but it was always dismissed. If it wasn't visually flashy or immediately showable, it just didn't matter. And the words burnout and crunch were thrown around like things we shouldn't ever say. But in reality, there was constant pressure and late-stage work pushes, usually from last-minute requests. And if you couldn't keep up, you just didn't produce enough visuals to be seen as performing. The whole thing was gaslighting, and over time, it made me question my value, my own knowledge, and eventually, I was just dreading to wake up and repeat. To be clear, there were a lot of wonderful, talented people that I truly enjoyed working with during my time there. There were fun, meaningful moments, and teams and individuals who inspired me, supported me, and gave their best. This isn't about everyone. It's about a culture that slowly wore me down. I've been warned not to speak up, that sharing my experience could hurt former coworkers or make me look unprofessional. I was told not to burn bridges, to stay quiet for the sake of my future. But the truth is, this experience drained me so deeply, I have no interest in keeping those bridges. If being honest about how toxic the experience truly pushes some people or studios away, then they were never people I wanted to work with in the first place. Staying silent is part of the cycle, and I'm done with that. There are more ways to stay and work in this industry than staying silent and kissing big corporate booty. Thank you. Woof. Man, that's rough. That is rough. I just want to say, I am so sorry, Athena. That is a terrible experience. And if we jump back over to Slikey, he also reiterates some of these same things, saying it absolutely ruined my mental health. During my employment at Hypixle Studios, I became more and more depressed until I struggled to get out of bed. I became more and more unhealthy and unhappy. Once I left, it turned all around within a year. Compare my 2023 and yesterday photos. As you can see, he hit the gym, he got his life together, he's Giga Chad Slikey now. Looking good, man. And he said, the job was actively killing me. When you lay in bed and you're dreading to get up because you know you're working on managed decline is the worst thing you can possibly do as a person that thrives and lives off of passion. Man, all I can say is I am sorry. I'm sorry to all the people involved in that experience. That had to be such a difficult time for you. And I will lift you up in prayer, and I truly wish all of you the best moving forward. But yeah, guys, this is the story of Hytale, a once passionate and fun game dev team that was just making their dream game together. It turned into this toxic work environment that just caused so much heartache to so many people, and it's really sad to see that, honestly. And guys, this is actually the very reason why I'm so deeply grateful for Tyron at Vintage Story for how he responded to this. If you're not up to date on that whole situation, go check out my channel. I have several videos talking about Tyron and Hytale and what he said. Basically, he reached out to some of the Hytale devs after it got shut down and offered them a place at Vintage Story because he used to be a developer on Hytale. And just check out what he has to say here. We're reaching out to the Hytale community and its devs as they too truly and deeply believed in Hytale. This is a chance to maybe at least partially keep that dream alive. We're all on the same boat here. We're all gamers, desiring to dive into different game worlds with all of our senses to escape reality for a few moments in time. Why shouldn't we peacefully coexist? Why shouldn't we help each other? When I worked for Hytale in 2015, I really felt their passion for what they were working on. The team there really believed in the work they did. It was also this very experience that gave me the confidence to start Vintage Story in the first place. It was Noxie that saw my work on World Gen and handed an olive branch to me, believed in my skills to work on their project. Now, Vintage Story might have never seen the light of day without Hytale, so now it's my turn to hand them an olive branch. It is the least I can do. And this is just so awesome to see that some of these people who were really hurt by this experience are being offered to come back into a healthy and fun game development experience where they can have fun again and create again without this AAA pressure. So to see that they would be escaping that and coming back to the healthy, fun environment that it used to be is just really awesome. And I'm really happy for the 3 to 4 Hytale developers that are going to get to come over and work on this new fantasy game mode within Vintage Story. I'm just really happy for them. I think this creates a safe space for all the devs to create and have fun again. I mean, they need freedom. They need to create again, together, like the old days. And Vintage Story might be the place that lets that happen. A return to the game with soul. A place where ex-Hytale devs can dream again. Just a group of friends building something they love. So yeah, this is a sad story, but it's not fully the end. If you're watching this and you've been following the Hytale news for years like I have, let's keep believing. Either for Simon to pull off the save, or for Tyron to bring us this new game mode that captures the same heart and vision as Hytale. Just because the Hytale IP may be gone, the devs who made it are not. And the people make the game. The game does not make the people. Or something like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, like it, share it, and please subscribe. It means a whole lot to me when you do.